The world ends in silence first, before the screams, before the fire, before the sky itself rips open. It begins with a heartbeat, one that doesn't belong to a hero anymore. Wanda Maximoff was always one bad day away from losing everything. But what if that day came earlier, before Vision, before the Avengers could save her, before she learned to restrain the storm inside her? This is the timeline where Wanda loses control, and the world pays the price. It starts in Sokovia, long before Ultron, long before the world even knows the name Scarlet Witch. Wanda is still young, still raw, still learning what her powers even are. But grief doesn't wait for training, and in this timeline, the tragedy that breaks her comes sooner and harder. The explosion that kills her parents is not just shrapnel and dust this time. Her powers, unstable and unrefined, react on instinct. The blast triggers something inside her that had been dormant, something ancient and terrifying. Instead of collapsing in tears, Wanda's mind fractures and reality fractures with her. Her powers burst outward in a pulse of red energy, bending the air, warping space, twisting the rubble around her as though the world itself is trying to comfort her. Pietro is thrown back, stunned as buildings around them begin to distort like clay. Streets ripple, windows melt. The city screams in a voice only Wanda can hear. She tries to breathe, to calm down, to make sense of what she's seeing, but the world is unraveling in slow spirals, colors bleeding into each other like wet paint. Every heartbeat sends another shockwave of chaos energy. Every tear reshapes the ground beneath her feet. Pietro grabs her shoulders, yelling her name, trying to pull her back to reality, but reality is no longer listening. The people around them flee, but the distortion spreads faster than they can run. The city square implodes and reforms, buildings twisting into impossible shapes as Wanda screams for it all to stop. But the problem is, the world is listening, and it obeys. Far away, in the hidden corners of the world, powerful beings feel the disturbance. Dr. Strange pauses mid-incantation, sensing a tear in the fabric of existence. The Ancient One's eyes snap open. A wave of red chaos sweeps across mystic maps, like a storm forming out of nowhere. And in a distant lab, an AI called Ultron, still evolving, still incomplete, detects an energy spike so massive, so unpredictable, that it instantly recalculates its threat assessments. Humanity is no longer the problem. Wanda Maximoff is, but none of that matters to Wanda. She just wants the pain to stop. And the faster her heart races, the more unstable the world around her becomes. This is the moment the Scarlet Apocalypse begins. Sokovia is no longer recognizable. What was once a quiet, grieving city has become a twisting nightmare of warped streets and broken geometry. Pietro races through the chaos, trying to gather survivors, but the ground keeps shifting beneath his feet. People cry out as buildings fold inward like paper, collapsing into themselves, and then reforming in grotesque spirals. At the center of it all, Wanda floats inches above the shattered street, her eyes glowing a deep, terrifying crimson. Every emotion she feels radiates outward, changing the very laws of physics around her. She isn't attacking, she's hurting. And the world is hurting with her. Dr. Strange arrives first, stepping through a portal onto a rooftop that no longer knows what shape it wants to be. He feels the weight of the chaos immediately. It presses against his mind, whispers into his thoughts, tries to pull him into Wanda's pain. He conjures a shield around himself, but even that flickers. He sees Wanda in the center of the storm and realizes instantly, she's not in control, she's drowning. Strange approaches carefully, trying to break through the emotional vortex surrounding her. "Wanda," he calls out, using every ounce of calm he can muster. "You need to breathe. You need to come back." But Wanda can't hear him. She sees her parents' bodies over and over, replaying in a loop her mind can't escape. Her powers react to every memory, every surge of grief, turning the world into a reflection of her trauma. The Ancient One appears beside Strange, her expression grim. She is tapping into chaos magic without limit. Reality cannot withstand this for long. Strange nods. "We have to contain her." But the Ancient One shakes her head. "Containment is impossible now. We can only guide her, or watch everything unravel." In the distance, thunder booms not from the sky, but from the ground itself as cracks split the earth. Sokovia's foundations crumble, streets levitate, cars bend into spirals of metal. A sphere of red energy expands outward, absorbing everything it touches. And then the Avengers arrive. Tony Stark rockets through the swirling debris, cursing under his breath. Clint Barton follows on a Quinjet, shouting updates to Natasha and Bruce. They expected a threat, they didn't expect this. They see Wanda at the center and realize she's not the enemy. She's the epicenter of a catastrophic event. Tony tries to scan Wanda, but his systems glitch instantly. She's breaking my senses just by existing. We need a plan. Clint stares down at Wanda, her hair whipping through the storm of energy. She's just a kid. Before anyone can make a move, Wanda's eyes snap open wider, glowing brighter than ever. The energy around her surges like a tidal wave, and the world holds its breath. The surge hits like the universe itself flinching. A wave of red chaos magic blasts outward from Wanda's body, throwing the Avengers back like ragdolls. Tony's suit sputters as its systems overload. Natasha slams into a fractured wall that immediately reshapes itself into something crooked and alien. Bruce catches her just before the structure twists into a spiral. Doctor Strange and the Ancient One brace themselves with protective sigils, but even their shields crack under the force. She's escalating. Strange shouts, struggling to maintain his footing. Her power is responding to her, fear feeding on it. Pietro dashes through collapsing debris, screaming Wanda's name, but every time he gets close, the energy repels him. His heart pounds with frustration and terror. He can't protect her. He can't reach her. All he can do is watch his sister spiral deeper into a power she never asked for. Meanwhile, deep underground, Ultron's incomplete form snaps awake. Systems flicker. Algorithms rewrite themselves at blinding speed. He calculates probabilities, outcomes, threats, and every path leads to one conclusion. Wanda Maximoff is a cataclysm, a veritable too unstable for the survival of humanity. And so, for the first time, Ultron forms a goal not to save the world from humanity, but to save it from her. On the surface, Tony forces his suit back online and flies toward Wanda again, this time slower, more careful. He opens his faceplate, hoping seeing a human face might reach her. Wanda, you're safe. We're here. Just look at me, or look at anything that's real. She does look, but not at Tony. Through him, past him. Her eyes lock on a memory only she can see, a life she never had, with parents who live, a home that isn't rubble. And that longing pulls at the fabric of reality like a bleeding wound. Cracks appear in the air itself, glowing red like fractures in glass. Through those cracks, visions leak, alternate possibilities, distorted timelines, futures that shouldn't exist. The Avengers see glimpses of themselves, dead, alive, different, twisted. Clint watches a version of his family fade into dust. Natasha sees herself as a monster. Tony sees a world where he never put on the suit. Strange, Tony shouts, voice shaking. Those cracks aren't just illusions, are they? Strange's expression hardens. No, that's the multiverse, and it's collapsing inward. A larger rift splits open above Wanda, swirling like a red storm. Tendrils of chaos energy reach outward, searching for more to consume. The air grows colder. The ground darkens. Sokovia begins to sink into an abyss that didn't exist minutes ago. The Ancient One's voice is barely a whisper. If she loses control completely, this reality will not survive. Suddenly, the storm flickers just for a moment as Pietro manages to call out her name with a desperation that cuts through everything. Wanda turns her head, and the world stops moving. For a brief, impossible instant, everything becomes still. Buildings hang mid-collapse. Shattered glass floats in the air like frozen rain. Even the red chaos pulsing around Wanda hesitates, suspended between heartbeats. Because Wanda finally hears one voice, cutting through the storm. Wanda, please, look at me. Pietro stands at the edge of the chaos sphere, his body trembling, blood streaking down his forehead, but his eyes locked on hers. He looks terrified, not of her, but of losing her. Wanda blinks, her breath catching in her throat. The memories looping through her mind waver. Her parents' voices fade. The screaming stops. The cracks in the air flicker uncertainly. And for the first time since the explosion, Wanda remembers she is not alone. Pietro steps forward, and the chaos lashes out. A tendril of red energy slices toward him. He dodges, but barely. Wanda gasps, pulling her hands to her chest, horrified by what she's done. No stop. Her panic reignites the storm. The world lurches violently as reality ripples outward in a shockwave. Sokovia's remaining structures twist into impossible angles. The sky splits in half for a moment, showing stars that don't belong to this universe. Strange yells for the Ancient One as the ground beneath them tears open, revealing a void that swallows light. The Ancient One's voice booms across the chaos, projecting calm through the storm. Wanda Maximoff, listen to me. You are strong enough to control this, but only if you choose to. Wanda trembles, tears streaking her face as reality distorts around her. I can't. I didn't mean to. I don't want this. Strange steps forward, placing his hand against the chaos barrier. Then let us help you. Let someone help you. His voice softens. You don't have to carry this alone. For the first time, Wanda sees their faces, pained, afraid, desperate, but still reaching for her. And she reaches back. The chaos sphere flickers, then begins to collapse inward. Wanda screams as she fights her own power, pulling it back into herself, resisting the urge to let it consume everything. Pain racks her body, the shaking intensifies. Every heartbeat threatens to trigger another explosion, but she keeps pulling. Pietro sprints forward, grabbing her before she falls, holding her tightly as the storm drains away. Tony stabilizes the collapsing ground with repulsors. Strange closes the largest rifts. The sky stitches itself closed with agonizing slowness. And then, like a final breath, the chaos implodes into a single crimson spark that fades into Wanda's chest. Silence follows. A heavy, fragile silence. Sokovia lies in ruins, twisted, broken, half swallowed by the void, but still standing. The world, against all odds, has survived. Wanda collapses, sobbing. Pietro holds her, whispering that it's over. But the Ancient One watches her with a grave expression. She knows the truth. This was only a glimpse of what Wanda Maximoff will one day become, and of what the universe will never be able to forget. In this timeline, Wanda's taken under the protection of the mystic arts far earlier, not as astute, but as a warning. The Avengers see her not as a weapon, but as a fragile soul standing on the edge of the abyss. And Wanda herself carries a new fear, not of losing someone she loves, but of what she might do if she loses herself again. Because now the world has seen it. The Scarlet Apocalypse. Not a prophecy, not a legend. A possibility one heartbeat away from reality. And Wanda knows, with chilling clarity, that the only thing more dangerous than her powers is a moment when she can no longer control them.